Hey everybody, I have a 66 80cc gas powered bicycle. They're all pretty standard Chinese motors. What you're looking at is phenolic, pronounced phenolic, which is like a composite. It could be phenolic, and it could be fiberglass. Could be just not sure. It's one of those hard plastics that doesn't really burn. It's like epoxy resin, something. I don't know the difference between all those. Volkswagen, early Volkswagen 60s and whatnot. On the set of ignition points, there's a little block on the backside. It's brown and it kind of looks like checkerboard if you look real closely at it, almost like the way this has got cross hatching on it. It's phenolic. That's where I assumed that this was the same. This is from Japan. Anyways, this is a spacer for a carburetor that was on a little 50cc Kawasaki, real Japanese motor. Nice motor. It's over here. Anyways, what I'm getting at is I'm changing up the carburation on my bicycle just to something to do. I'm bored. And what you're looking at is, this is all experimental. A piece of 1/2-inch EMT electrical conduit. I put together this stupid 100 watt motor that comes off of a scooter. What do you call it? A razor scooter? I got nothing else to do. It's a 24 volt motor hooked up to a 12 volt deep cycle flooded battery, I guess you'd call it. That's a Trojan, like $300 battery, something like that. Anyways, I got a cutoff wheel on here. It's not super powerful, but it's enough to do a nice clean cut. So okay, the phenolic piece here, the spacer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mount two small weed eater type Walboro carburetors onto each side of this. Okay, I just JB welded this like hour or 2 hours ago, so it's setting up, but it's not completely done. Tomorrow, once it's all hard, I'm going to get in with my real nice file, and I'm going to whack down the little piece of metal that's popped up in there. I'm going to actually, what do you call it, notch it, so it'll follow the curved contour that's in there. And so what you're looking at is two carburetors are going to be bolted here. Their fuel lines hooked up together. I'm going to measure on the bicycle what's going to fit, and I'm going to have to do a cut here somewhere around here. And then I'm going to make a little oval shaped base that's actually the mounting tab, and I'm going to weld it. There's my little stick welder over there. I'm going to mount the tab onto here, put it on the bike, and we're going to see if we can run dual Walboros. They're kind of a small Venturi. I think the stock carburetor that's on the bike is a 19 millimeter Venturi. This one here, I'm going to guess, is like 15, something like that. So this is by no means really well math plotted or nothing like that. We're looking at 11, 12, just in the ballpark, about 12 millimeter, that Venturi. Okay, just for giggles, let's see, we're almost 17 or 18 here. This is just about the diameter that comes on the carburetor. So, my bike's outside locked up, but okay, nobody laugh. This is my setup for a friction drive that I'm going to be putting together. Nothing's set in stone here. It's going to go on the front wheel. Okay, if you were sitting on my bicycle, boom, this is going to mount on the left side 1 second. Here we go. On this set of suspension forks, there's just a circus zone going on here. Anyways, yeah, that motor, couple little metal pieces to support it. It's going to go on here, and it's going to be lined up to where that 90 millimeter skateboard wheel is the actual friction drive that rubs the tire. And so, like I was saying, this is going to go on the left side of the fork. So I'll reach down and give it a pull, and I'm going to have a lever that's going to actually engage this onto the tire. Bink, bink. So the way it's set up here, though, carburetor's going to be on the front, and it already got that 6680 cc. It's actually 60 cc motor. I did the displacement 48 millimeter by 40 millimeter stroke. It comes out just about 60, 59 something. I don't know, something like that. Anyways, it'll be propelling me, and maybe I'll come to a hill or something. Yeah, I'm going to engage this. See how well it does. But in the meantime, my little circus carburetor setup is going to go something like this on the other motor. Let's just go like that. Boom. It's going to be kind of short. Carburetor. They're kind of small. But it'll be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Okay, this is, once again, if you're sitting on the seat of the bicycle, your hands are on the handlebars. You're looking here. I just haven't welded in a while. And this little stick welder I got is real cheesy. It's got two settings, 50 amp and 70 amp, I believe, is what they say. It's going to be less than that for sure. Made in China. And it runs on a 115 volt AC home plug. I have it hooked up onto a 20 amp breaker that's about 20 feet away from here. I got a pretty good wire that's running there, and it's not powering anything else but the outlet down there. But yeah, my welds on here look like crap. I'm using Harbor Freight 6011 rods. They're a 1/8 inch diameter, and they're not the greatest welding rod. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut V's, boom, boom, 3 V's out of here, and it'll come down. I'm going to mark them real nice, but boom, boom, boom. I saw a video on YouTube where this guy was, instead of doing bends on pipes, he's actually notching, bending it, and then welding it back closed. My buddy's got a wire feed that I could go down and use. That's what I'm pretty good on that one. Yeah, cut 3 V's, bend those together till they close. And what this is going to do is, okay, once again, this is on the left side of the fork. I'm going to turn it. Yeah. It's going to go in here, and it's going to curve and come down here, and then maybe just have it go straight down. I can't really have it come back and down because this is going to hinge and stuff. So coming out of the port, a quick turn this way, and then another turn going down, probably be what I'll do. I really want to build an expansion chamber. Get this, out of an aluminum baseball bat. That's some pretty tight stuff. Somebody else did one like that, which is pretty damn cool. Because it's pretty darn close to the dimensions of an expansion chamber. I think the best DIY expansion chamber I've seen on one of these little bicycle motors lately is a Suzuki RM80 dirt bike. A little 80cc dirt bike has a pretty big size looking expansion chamber, and it's man, those bikes run good. I've been learning little tricks here and there that I've been watching and meaning to do myself. I want to build my own little timing plate that's going to sit underneath the CDI module. It's on my magneto, because I want to be able to advance it manually with the finger, have a little trigger up top, maybe one of the gear shift levers, I don't know. But when the bike's at a lower RPM, I guess it's okay, but as soon as you get revved up, you need to advance it about 3-5 degrees, a little more than that, and it'll really make a big difference. Because I have one of those $20 cheesy expansion chambers. It makes a difference. It's not big. The RM80 pipe would be ideal on my bike. I've been looking around, but I can't find one for less than like $100. And I really want to make one, but this damn stick welder is, it's going to be a mess. If this is what it's putting out, this little bird shit, little welds, it's amazing. Trying to even weld this stuff, it burns so fast. I put it on the low setting and just get a spot, and it'll do okay, but I'm much better off on MIG welder. I got a few little welding projects I want to do, bicycle related. My bike that I have is a Specialized. It's maybe 3-4 years old. It's a 17-inch frame, aluminum. It's got okay components. Well, I picked up a second Specialized frame that's aluminum, a little newer. It's actually a female frame that's got a little bend in the top bar. And what I want to do is I want to take those two frames and make a tandem bicycle. And I've been reading, you can get special rod and stick weld aluminum with arc welder, the AC arc welder. They say it's kind of hard to do. If I'm looking at getting these kind of welds on this, I could just imagine what a menagerie it's going to be, if it'll even be strong, you know. Part of me wants to wait and collect 2 steel mountain bike frames and go from there and do the tandem bike. But I really want to do a tandem. It's going to be kind of heavy, but I'm going to put my gas motor on the back, where, you know, on the frame, and then I'll have this one on the front wheel, so whoever's riding the front can run this one, engage it, and whoever's in the back can do the other motor. Like one of those fire trucks that has the guy sitting in the back. It turns the wheel and it makes the rear wheel spin around corners. I guess I'll be kind of doing something like that. How many of you have been staring at the skateboard wheel wondering, how the hell is that going to go anywhere? It's a skateboard wheel, it's loose. Well, I took the bearings out and more JB weld, and I made a custom to mount that off the magneto there. The nut that was on there, I went to the hardware store and got 3 more. I think it's an 8 by 1.25. It's a metric thread. So I got 3 more of those. Same nuts that thread onto that magneto shaft, or the crankshaft. And I stacked them all up on a piece of threaded bolt. And I buzzed them together. Bzzz, so all 3 of those made like a barrel nut. And so once I got my JB weld on here, on this bolt, all nice and solid, I put that barrel nut on there, and so it attaches to the crank, attaches to the back side of the nut. It's on there good. And the way that it's set up, the thread, it tightens this way, so when this spins, it's naturally going to be tightening it up, so it won't come off. So that worked out well. And sitting on the bike while it's rolling, you can reach down and be able to hit that. This is a really impressive little motor. This is made in Japan. Kawasaki Heavy Industries makes this. It's 54 cc's. And it's absolutely a real Kawasaki. I opened it up, and it's got a beautiful, what's that process called? It's like they do nickel and silicone finish. Some 2-stroke motors get a chrome plating, and then they do a cross hatchet. No, they don't do cross hatchet. Just the chrome will hold the oil will cling to it, and it lubricates. But a regular steel sleeve that's been honed, they're known to get hot fast, and they don't hold the oil, and they mar the piston and seize up if you're really hard on them. But yeah, the coating in there looks beautiful. Pistons beautiful, rings. It's a few years old, but it's been really run well. And I remember when I first got this, I bought it at a yard sale. It was a backpack blower, Kawasaki, and it was missing the spout, the arm that actually expels the air. It had gas in it already, and I 2 pulls and it started right up. Idled beautiful. I really have high hopes for this. I'd really like to be able to get a nice expansion chamber for this and get myself a really good carburetor for this. But yeah, I'll put the stock one back on there once I'm done messing around with this, because my one carburetor comes off a weed eater, and the other carburetor that's going to go on here is this carburetor. So it's going to run for sure. You know, I was thinking also having 2 carburetors mounted on here, getting this manifold correct, getting it all bolted up. If I just used one, pardon me, it would run, and if it had a difficulty, the second carburetor could go, but I don't see how I could enable and disable one carburetor here, because if it has fuel line connected, I guess I could choke it off, cork it, the carb or something, just run one. I don't know, we'll see what happens. But, oh yeah, I'm going to get in there with the file, clean that up real nice. Get that little bit of extra JB weld out of there. It's kind of a funky transition, sideways to down. But I have a feeling those 2 carburetors on there are going to make it scream. Alright, I'll stop running my jibs here and turn this off. Thanks for watching.